Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone around the world. Welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video featuring your girl Spirit. Coming at you the very spicy build today in the form of Save the Best for Last, Knockout, and Jolt. Today's going to be a very fun game, let alone for me. I don't know about survivors. Well, that's not what we're here to talk about. For those of you out there who's been watching my content, you know that I don't like running a lot of purples and iridescent add-ons. I like to run strictly yellow and browns. But today we are going to be diving into dried cherry blossom. We touched on this a little bit back in the Red Rank Spirit Guide, but for those of you out there who don't use this perk or this add-on that often, this is very good for Spirit players who don't have very good tracking and or hearing outside in the real world, or don't have a really good headset. This add-on allows you to get a notification when you're on top of a survivor who is next to you. See what I'm saying? You get that little heartbeat and all that sort of thing. It allows you to keep up with survivors a little bit better. But be mindful, if you aren't very good at tracking, let alone knowing where survivors might run off to for the next tile and or loop, this could hurt you if you lose out where they're going to be. But overall, we're going to be talking about Knockout today, Save the Best for Last, and Jolt. This is going to be the core of the build. We will be adding in a fourth perk, be it, you'll see when we get to it. But for those of you out there who want to know how this is going to work out, Knockout gives you so much information throughout the game of Dead by Daylight. If you knock out a survivor in one corner of the map, you go to the other corner of the map to push survivors around, right? Because as killer, you can technically dictate where survivors are going to run off to. Just like how you can force survivors on which way to play a loop, you can do the same exact thing with Knockout. If you knock out a survivor somewhere else, go to another location and get value. You see what I'm saying? As long as you're able to keep up tokens with Save the Best for Last, you will always be in chase. Let alone, you will always have the opportunity to down a survivor in an area with Jolt. But overall, let's dive into the games. Remember to smash that like button. Helps me out a ton. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Diving into game number 1. Coming at you with Knockout, Jolt, Save the Best for Last as the core perks with this build. We're tacking in Sloppy Butcher. I'm going to show you guys a game with it, without it, and what have you. Show you the differences and why I actually think Sloppy Butcher is the go-to perk with a perk such as Knockout on killers such as Spirit, because this is all I play here on the channel. For those of you out there who watch my content, appreciate you. Alright, we'll go for him instead. That's fine. He does have a pallet around that corner, so I'd rather actually get the easier survivor. Unfortunately, David happens to be our obsession, which is my luck here in the game. But that's fine. Cherry Blossom doing some work there. I might have thought he was on the other side of the wall there without it, but I doubt it. It's just something to think about. All right, so they got the first gen over there behind me, which is fine. Unfortunately, we are starting off a little weak because we don't have any tokens from Save the Best for Last, but David will be used to acquire a couple tokens. Hold on, behind me. Nice try, buddy. Whew, that was pretty good, not gonna lie. I do see her as well. We're gonna break off this chase and turn back around and go back towards the hook and get another free token here. All right, yep. Watch. What'd I say? No healing for you. Let you go by. Come here, girly. 3 survivors injured with Sloppy Butcher here. The thing about this is, with Sloppy Butcher with Knockout, they already have slow recovery time with Knockout, right? While they're on the ground. Well, with Sloppy Butcher, when another survivor is trying to pick up that target, guess what? They also have slower recovery time, because it makes sense. Once they get picked up, they're going to try to heal them. Well, considering they're injured with Sloppy Butcher, you should be able to get from point A to point B to stop that healing. 9 out of 10 times. There are certain situations where you can't, depending on what map it is and how big that map is. For example, Larry's, for instance, there's a lot of pallets and windows that survivor can just, you know, crawl behind or wait around for you. I have no idea what you were doing there. But overall, you generally should be able to get there in time. Now, you can argue trying to take out Sloppy and put in maybe like Franklin's Demise or another slowdown perk could do very well. And I agree with you. Because Jolt in itself is not enough slowdown to win 9 out of 10 of your games. Just by itself, right? Because you will come across better survivors and or survivors that actually do gens or play pretty good versus Spirit. There's a lot of calculations you have to add in, but just Jolt in itself is not always the best and the only slowdown perk you need to add in the game. which is why I like things like Sloppy Butcher and or Knockout, because it does add in another form of mechanic survivors have to deal with. But if you guys don't enjoy those sort of perks, you can opt in for Scourge Hook, you can opt in for Gen Control slowdown perks and all that sort of thing. There's 7 stacks right there. We're doing good, boys and girls. Now, as Knockout implies, what do we do as Killer? Well, we slug them. We let them bleed out. We enjoy our day, we move on, because we are not here to play by Survivor's rulebooks. Just keep in mind, if you do play this way when you play with Knockout, which you should be, you won't get a lot of points, you won't pip up as quickly if you let a survivor just bleed out on the ground. And a lot of survivors will lay there for a while and they'll get all the way down before they get ready to die and disconnect. And that feels bad. So be a little bit mindful on how you play with it and work on hooks if you need to. Whereas I like to try to get my obsession out of the game relatively early if I have enough tokens that I feel satisfied with, if that makes sense to you. Like, I have 6 right now, so I don't care if David dies here. That's fine with me. The rest of them, they can bleed out. That's fine. We'll just use this video as an example, right? But overall, we're going to dive into game number 2. And we might even do a 3rd one. Because why not? I'm having fun with Spirit like I do every day, and you guys enjoy the content, so that's what I'm here for. See y'all in a split second. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Diving into another game. Coming at you with Knockout, Jolt, Save the Best for Last, and Franklin's Demise. This is actually going to be a pretty tough game here, depending on how I do. The Thompson House is not always a very good map for Spirit, let alone most killers in Dead by Daylight. It can be a little bit irritating to deal with survivors. But we'll see what we can do here. Let's knock your boy out for the first one. And see if we can draw in another survivor here. Let's check on this gen first. Alright, so we do know somebody was at least working on this one. Unless that was him who touched it last. I doubt it. We'll see. Let's go and turn it off. Cool. There's their first gen completed. We're already slacking, see? Look, they're already here. And the problem with this is, if we're running like Gift of Pain, Sloppy Butcher, a little bit more slowdown and or a little bit more pressure or information perks, instead of Franklin's here, we might even do better. Franklin's Demise is a very, very situational add-on, or perk, sorry, in which you really want to run if survivors are carrying nothing but toolboxes or medkits. If they're carrying a couple flashlights, you know what they're looking to do, so that would be very, very useful. In a game such as this, where we haven't seen a lot of items, it might not be super valuable to run Franklin's. But survivors do have opportunities of opening different chests to acquire items, which Franklin's can counterplay. We have 4 tokens right now and Save the Best for Last. I completed 2 gens with 1 hook. We're not looking too good. Now, even if I take this chase, I will be in a bad situation even once I get him downed. I am in a corner of the map where Leon's over there in the middle with the hook. There he goes. Let's go and get this out of the game. Nice flashlight. We should be able to down him here anyhow, but we'll see. Maybe not. Yep. Here's my first mistake here. At least in my opinion right now. Like, I'm giving this man way too much chase, in which I should have broke away from here and went back towards the hook to stop the healing at the time. Give or take, they were healing there, we don't know yet, but, you know. We might not even made it because we're running Franklin instead of something else, but maybe would it be. Ooh, nice job. I think Dried Cherry Blossom threw me away there, or threw me off there. But it's all good, we'll get him here. Come here, buddy. Sure, why not? They got the other one picked up and they should heal him in time anyhow. Downside with this map, like I said before, it's a relatively large map. So it is a little bit difficult to apply pressure by going back and forth for survivors. You know what I mean? They can get the pickups, they can get the heals and move on with the day. That would require you to use a long press of your power, right? So once you get to that survivor, your power's on cooldown. It's a whole mess. So you have to be a little bit weary on where you slug survivors at and what type of perk build you're running with the build such as this. We have to break this chase here as well. Sprint burst. Not really ideal. Now this over here, we can stop. They actually aren't healing under hook, so that's good for them. Leon ran off over there. We're going to take the easy down for right now. Come here, buddy. Thank you. Get that jolt value here on that gen. Also, if you have been noticing, we have had a lot of pressure on this side of the map, so we have a lot of gens over here that we can safely lock down. Nice dead hard. That should be the middle gen, right? Cool. Not bad. Now I probably should go ahead and pick him up and hook him to get this man out of the game. But I want to see if we can get over there and interrupt this. Never mind. What do? Well played, buddy. Well played. Alright, let's go back here. Might be a little bit too late, though, to be honest. Another misplay, perhaps, maybe? Yup, just in time. Good job, buddy. Well played. At least we can grab David here. This game is looking a little bit dicey. We've got 3 hooks, 2 gens left. Everybody is injured, which they shouldn't be able to heal whatsoever unless they're going to stay on top of each other. Considering Franklin's demise, I have no idea how you didn't go down. There we go. There goes the crows. So they have to be on that far gen over there. I got the pickup. We're gonna go back for this. I should have enough time. It's only 1 survivor that's touching that gen right now. Nice. Yeah, we got this. Cool. Come here, buddy. It was a very close game. The survivor group did really, really well. And, you know, I did make quite a bit of misplays here. I should have hooked a little bit more when I needed to with Leon and got him out of the game at least. This would have stopped a lot of this resetting here. Buddy, we're going to do this all day. Oh, good. Cool. Alright, let's go get him. Oh, the man wasn't even close to finishing the gen yet. That sounds about like maybe 40-50%. It's all good. But overall, pretty fun build, in which survivors, I would assume, hate being slugged. We all know it. As long as you leave a survivor on the ground more than 5 seconds longer than they need to be, they will always be a little bit upset. But we are just playing with the perk and what it wants us to do. Get your boy hooked up. And we will dive into another one, actually. We'll do the game number 3. Why not? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go, diving into game number 3. It's not something we normally do here. We normally play 2 games, but, you know, I love you guys. I appreciate you for tuning in and watching my content. I'm coming at you guys with Knockout, Sloppy Butcher this time around, Save the Best for Last, and Jolt, in which we should get a lot of value here, be it it's Auto Haven, one of the best maps in the game, in my opinion, you know, especially considers my favorite one. And it's a lot smaller than the Thompson House, in which these survivors should have a hard time dealing with my build here. And Meg will be our first hook. I think so, right? Yeah, no, let's go back. Because there was another survivor that started next to her, so they would probably know that she's in this house up here, if they saw which way we went to. Alright, let's get her hooked up, and we'll check this gen, or at least listen for it. I don't hear it being worked on. Fair enough. Guess we'll go back to the other side of the map. Oh, never mind. Weird. Maybe I wasn't close enough to listen in on it. That's fine. Gonna break away from that one, go for her instead. Come here, girlie. That first M1, we should be able to beat her around the pallet. Nice. Let's go, boys. Where'd Dwight go? For the hook. Awesome. Just on time. Nah, we're gonna go for him instead. It's fine. I am going to slug him, at least because he doesn't know where we downed the other survivor. At least I don't think he would. And maybe the other survivor doesn't know either, considering she was on the hook. So we'll see how this plays out. Come here, buddy. And she has a flashlight. You know how we know that? Considering the flashlight bug that you can see from a distance. We'll take it. We're gonna go around here. Got him. We got that value on Jolt here as well. There goes that slowdown. One stack on Save the Best for last, unfortunately, but didn't look like we needed it all too much this game. These survivors kind of lined up for me, which they should if you're able to apply pressure with Sloppy Butcher such as this, and or Gift of Pain or any other perk, as long as you can stay on top of these survivors. Nice job. Surprised I didn't get that M1. Where'd she go? Being blind will do that to you guys, I'm sorry. Scratch marks going this way. Definitely going for the pickup. Yep. Well played. What do you do now? I'll hit you, that's fine. Yeah, sure. There you go. You're gonna drop this pallet pre, I guarantee it. Cool. What did you learn? Hola, Chiquita. Where are we going? She has one more pallet over here. Ooh. Lucky. Hold on. Go back around. Well played, guys. Well played. Overall, I can't really complain with this build setup here, let alone with Knockout, just in general. I think survivors who really hate being slugged, and I think Dead by Daylight behavior should do something about it. You know, remember that unbreakable base kit we were supposed to get, or they talked about a long time ago? You know, I'm not saying help out the survivors, because we all know I don't play by survivor rulebook here. But at the end of the day, nice Kobe. When you can do things like this for free with no like side effects of negativity towards killer, I don't know, man. It's pretty good. Sure, why not? What you do now? I'll wait. She hopped out. Excuse me. That was weird, but alright. There we go. But overall, this has been Pawse Plays. Remember guys, smash that like button, make sure to subscribe for your content when it comes to Spirit. That's all we do here. We play this killer because there's no other killer in the game who comes close to the amount of fun you can have on her. But either way, I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe out there. I'll see y'all later.